I really didn't want to have to make a video series explaining things that people should have probably already have figured out already. I've been fighting making this video for a while now, but now I think it's time. I think it's time because the world didn't end. We didn't ascend. Jesus didn't return. The rapture didn't happen. Nobody was enlightened. And hopefully now people can start to abandon the conspiracy doom and gloom stuff along with the new age garbage that's being passed around for truth. But understand that it's not my job to try to change your beliefs. I have no interest in doing so. Hence why I didn't really want to make this video. Because I could really care less. My job is simply to put what I know out there. And you either accept it or you don't. It doesn't matter to me one way or the other. Because I know already that the things that I'm going to be talking about are going to be lost on 98 to 99% of the people that listen to it. And I already know this. Those who are meant to hear it and have this knowledge will find it and listen to it. That's just the way these things work. So I'm not concerned with being popular or having the most comments or things like that. In fact, I disabled the comments because I already know that people will try to turn them into a religious argument or debate, especially when it comes to things of this nature that we're going to be talking about. And what are we going to be talking about? Well, we're going to be talking about magic. I am Frauder X, and I am a practitioner of Western ceremonial magic. We're going to be talking about the occult, which is not really what you think it is, for most of you. We're going to be talking about hypnosis, NLP, the subconscious mind. We're going to be talking about the Illuminati, which is something I really don't care to talk about, but eventually it's going to have to be addressed. And we're going to be talking about the real meanings behind a lot of the symbolism that you see around you. So we're going to be getting into a whole lot of things that are going to, hopefully by the end, give you a better understanding of what's really going on. And I assure you that this isn't stuff you're going to hear anywhere else. You just aren't. If you were, I wouldn't be having to make this video series, which I didn't want to make to begin with, for various reasons, for a number of reasons. So why hasn't anybody really talked about these things before? At least the true nature of these things before. A lot of people are talking about it, but the answer is that they don't know what they're talking about. Most of them. And the ones that do are forbidden to talk about it. Either through oaths, which as a solitary practitioner, I'm not held by any such oaths. Another reason is they don't want you to have the same power as they do. That's the easy and obvious one. But another reason is do not cast pearls before swine. People are not supposed to have this knowledge. Most people are not meant to have it. It's forbidden knowledge for a reason. Because absolute power corrupts absolutely. But we see that already today. And the final reason is one doesn't talk about magic unless they want to screw up their magic. And we'll get more into the reason why that is a bit further down the road. And because there's just so much that it's difficult to put it out there and explain it. You just can't put everything out there all at once, or it would do you more harm than good. And that's the truth. Because you have to have a certain basic understanding of things to be able to get into other things. This is why it takes years of people practicing to get to a level where they have a complete understanding of everything that they're doing. And hopefully it won't take that long. But it's going to take a little bit to get into some of this. And don't feel you have to agree with everything that I'm saying or disagree with everything that I'm saying. See, that's one of the first things we're going to get into is this whole duality, polarity thing, because that's a very, very important piece to all of this. Because how are you going to learn anything if you only listen to the things that you already agree with? You're not learning anything that way. And if you disagree with something, people have a tendency to throw out the entire thing. Well, don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. Hell, if I did that, I wouldn't have nearly the amount of knowledge on this stuff as I do now. There's been many things that I haven't agreed with at first. And then later on, down the road, you just come into a note, you get an understanding, and you're like, whoa, okay, now I get it. So you don't have to agree with everything that I'm saying or even have a complete understanding of these things. Just set them aside for later, and maybe you'll get that flash of insight. But this isn't a path for everyone. It's a very difficult path, but the most difficult paths have the greatest rewards. But there is a warning attached with these lessons, and it's not one to be taken lightly. And that warning is you may have trouble relating to other people by the end of all this and the things that they value. So just keep that in mind, because it may not sound like much, but trust me, it's a lot when you have difficulty relating to the things that people are talking about that really just don't seem to matter anymore. Yeah, you'll see when you get there, but I'm going to be treating this as a school. There may be some assignments to either reading or, to watch a video, things of that nature. Most aren't going to make it through. Most are going to fail miserably. In fact, most probably haven't even made it this far in the video. And that's by design. By drawing out this intro to the channel and this video series, I'm weeding out the people with no patience. Because I don't want them to have this knowledge, because they're not going to make it anyway. And it's said that the teacher takes on a part of the karma of his students. And I don't want the people with no patience taking shortcuts, getting themselves into trouble, and then passing on part of that karma to me. I don't want that. But if one or two people do fairly well, then I'll be satisfied. I'll be happy with that. So if you have made it this far, listening to me ramble on in this video, you've done fairly well with this little test of patience right out of the gate. So give yourself a pat on the back. And we will commence the first lesson in the next video. See you then.